Hey y'all, it's your girl Barbie J here. Welcome to my channel, June BLC. Hey there everybody, it's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of Tyler Perry's comedy drama Sisters, Season 8, Episode 10, Forget Me Not. I'll tell you one thing I could forget. This daggone episode. It ain't even worth remembering. I don't know. I mean, if you think it is, you can put it down in the comment section, but I really don't. But anyway, I'm going to do this recap and try to be quick and brief. So before I get started, if you are new here or if you are returning here and have not subscribed to this channel as of yet, please take a moment right now and hit that subscribe button. Then hit the notification bell and select all, and it'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel. Then I ask that you smash that like button, which is the thumbs up button, write a comment and join our conversation, and then share because sharing is caring. Okay, now that I got that out the way, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let's get started. So it starts off the way episode 9 ended. Gary shows up at Andy's penthouse talking about he needs some water. His voice is dry. And she's like, how did you get here? And he said he took a motorized bike from the hospital. And then Andy gives him some clothes to wear, which used to be Jordans, and they fit him real tight. And then she calls Hudson, who is being a real idiot. She wanted to call the hospital, but Gary begged her not to. So when she asked Gary how did he find her and is he getting his memory back, he snapped at her and said, I don't know. But you know what? Why did he have to snap like that? He ain't snapped for nothing else. I'm starting to think he is full of crap and he's acting. But we'll get to that part later because there were other signs that something is up with Gary. You know what I mean? Something just ain't right. Okay, so now we have Danny at the airport and Leonard's watching her. She calls Sabrina to complain and then compare him to the white privileged girl co-worker she had at her job at the bank. She said, oh yeah, that definitely sounds like Paige, because she told him that Leonard is upset that he didn't get in the leadership program, but she did. But let's be real, Danny didn't deserve to get in there. We all know it. But we don't know Leonard, so we don't know if Leonard deserved to get in there either. Let's be real with that. So then we have Zach and Aaron and Karen Salon feeling the baby kick. And so when Zach comes in there and asks, can he try it, feel it, Aaron is looking like he don't want to move. And Karen's like, well, Aaron, can he? And like, why you got to get permission? Aaron should have just got up and let him go. So Aaron gets up with the, okay, let's let baby daddy number 2 go in there. And Zach is like, I'm not baby daddy number 2. I'm baby daddy number 1. He said, just because you was boyfriend 1 doesn't mean you're baby daddy number 1. He said, well, I hit it first. Now, that was kind of cruel to say, but it was the truth. Zach impregnated her first, and then Aaron did. I mean, that's the way it happened. Let's be real. But why does Aaron always have to say something that'll get under Zach's skin? That was so uncalled for, and calling him Daddy Z and all of these other things. It's just, Zach is like, pause with that, please. Just stop. Aaron was being an idiot, if you ask me. Just, y'all on the same page. Keep it cordial. You know those things are not necessary. What's up? What is up? So anyway, Aaron leaves and Zach lets Karen know how he wants to catch every milestone with their child because he missed so much with Michael. And Karen kind of rolls her eyes when he mentions Michael. And I said she's jealous that he has this child already with another woman, if you ask me. We were all saying it. If she was still with Zach right now, she might not have accepted Michael the way that Fatima did. What do y'all think about that? Put it down in the comment section. Anyway, she promises to keep him and Fatima included in co-parenting. So Zach was about to hug Karen about that, and she stopped him and asked, does Fatima know that he's here? And he said yes. And then Karen's phone rings, and lo and behold, it's Fatima. And Zach, she's like, she didn't want to answer. He said, it's cool. Go ahead. You can answer it. But he said, you know what? I'm going to leave. So he left, and then Karen answered the phone. And Fatima asked if she and Pam could come and meet with her at the law firm that afternoon because of their client, Miss Marie Ellis. And Karen said, yeah, they could make it. So now we have Gary coming out of Andy's bedroom with Jordan's clothes on. They fitting him all kind of tight and snug. He looked like the Hulk trying to bust out of them or something. And Andy is giving him food, to eat. And she's like, oh, General Child's chicken or something like that. This used to be your favorite and all this stuff. She just happened to have some for him. I was like, whatever. So all of a sudden, Robin calls and says he's downstairs, and Andy doesn't want him to know that Gary is there. She's like asking him, why didn't he call ahead of time? And he's like, what's the problem? You got company or something? And she let him know it's none of your business if I entertain a company or not and stuff. He's like, oh boy, who you got up there, Andy? We said you're going to keep a low profile, so whatever, for whatever reason. And then she finally said, Gary. He said, are you freaking kidding me? I'm coming up. And I don't understand why she calls herself talking away from Gary when she's right there in the kitchen next to him. She could have went all the way to the bedroom and talked to him. She could have went to the living room, but she insists on talking right there. And then even when Robin got upstairs and was talking and they were saying something about Gary, they right there, right over to the next table, and Gary goes, I can hear y'all. Because Robin was saying, can't you see that he is faking it, that he's faking this whole thing? And Andy was like, he looks like he's miserable or something like that. I was like, oh Lord. She goes, oh no, we're not talking about you, we're talking about a client. I was like, oh Andy, please, y'all could have went all the way to another room. Why are you talking right near him? So then Hudson shows up, and he is just as rude as ever. And he tells Gary he has to go with him back to the hospital, but Gary wants to stay with Andy. And he starts yelling no to Hudson and pulling away from him and snatching away and moving. And Andy runs over towards him, but Robin pulls her back. I'm like, why would you run into danger when he's acting erratic? You don't know what he's going through, Andy. So that was dumb on her part. But and Robin had to pull her back 2 times. And so he tells Gary to let his friend, Hudson, take him back to the hospital. And Gary says, he's not my friend. And then Andy gets loose from Robin and goes over to Gary and talks him into going with Hudson. And then he leaves and pushes past both Hudson and Robin. But she had to promise that she would come and see him later. That was the only way he could get him to go. And so then Hudson acts like he has control, which he kept telling Andy, you don't have control right here. I'm the one who has his power of attorney. And she said, you may have power of attorney over his health, but you ain't got no power up in my apartment. I said, you tell him, Andy, tell him. Because Hudson thought he was saying something, but he couldn't get Gary to go back. It took Andy coaxing him to go back. So when they go to the elevator leave, he goes, now can you let me do my job? Dude, if you was doing your job, Gary wouldn't have gotten out of the hospital and left, okay? You wouldn't be out here looking for him, and Andy wouldn't have had to coax him to go back with you. So, dude, stop acting like you're doing something. You need Andy more than you know. So now we have Zach calling Fatima to let her know what he found out when he followed Hayden, such as Tamara was cheating on him with a friend who was in the hospital, and they figured it out that it's Gary. And then she lets him know that Karen and Pam are stopping by to discuss routes to riches for the law firm's client, Miss Marie. So he's like, at first he thought they were about to get into a beef or a fight, or they were arguing about him. She's like, dude, everything ain't about you, so stop it. So anyway, she ended up hanging up on him, because she had to go to work. And he was like, dang, she always hanging up on me. So now we see Tony back over to Danny's station at the airport, all close up on her. And Leonard is seeing this. And Tony is trying to get Danny to come to his office for lunch. But Danny turns him down, saying if she goes over there, it's going to be more than just lunch or something like that. But she makes a date with him later that night and could have dessert. And he said, what kind? She was like chocolate and all of this stuff. So she's doing all of that, and Leonard is hearing everything. And I'm saying to myself, why doesn't Tony learn? Why doesn't he learn and just stay professional? You got Leonard over there clearing his throat because he can hear everything, and he's letting them know he can hear everything. Because even when Tony finally left, calling himself trying to get a kiss from Danny on the cheek, which he didn't have to do that either, he couldn't control himself, and he's the problem. Danny might end up losing her job because of him. But once he did leave, Leonard goes, I hope you're going to have enough dessert for all of us. And she was like, Leonard, please, But that's how loud they talking that Leonard hears everything. So after Danny puts Leonard in check and she's staring at him, he goes, could you stop looking at me? And I said, excuse you, you've been watching her for the last 2 weeks. Stop it. You in her business. So why can't she look at you? Anywho, now we see Fatima in the conference room with Karen and Pam, and she's explaining to them why they are there and assuring them that Miss Marie is not trying to pull out of her contract with them. Then all of a sudden, Hayden comes in and starts being rude and very unprofessional to all of the ladies present, calling Karen salon ghetto. He called Pam a scamming hoe in so many words because he said she called Vanessa one and he said pot calling kettle black or something like that. I was like, wow. He called them amateurs, hood rats, all kinds of stuff. Then said he would be recommended Miss Marie pulls her investment away from them. And Fatima was pissed. They were like, you can't do that. What he said, I can and I will. And Fatima told him, Miss Marie told us to do A, B, and C. And he said, since my paralegal tends to undermine me in front of clients, and she was like, Mr. Moss, may I please speak with you in private? He said, well, since you put some respect on my name, I'll give you 30 seconds. And Fatima got up and said, if my memory recalls, that's all it takes. And Karen was like, oh. And they went out the conference room and was talking in the hallway. And Fatima had to let a brother know because I don't know what he's been doing, but he damn sure hasn't been looking out for Miss Marie. That's for sure. She tells him that Marie used to be a hood rat and tells him where she's from and where the women in her girl group were from. She broke it down about Miss Marie's music and things like that. And she realized that Hayden didn't do his homework and never listened to any of her music. And she told him, you don't know Miss Marie as well as you thought you did. And then she got him to change his mind, because she said Miss Marie sees herself in those two ladies. So he said, I'm sure I could get her to sway her decision. She said, you think so? But then he decided, okay, fine. You go ahead and you do it. I'm not dealing with these two anymore. You're going to take point on that. And she was like, fine. So she went back into the conference room and gave Karen and Pam the good news, and they were very grateful. Pam wanted to go out to celebrate, but Fatima had a meeting to attend. So Pam gets up and leaves, and they talked about a rain check or something for later. And Karen asked for a minute to talk to Fatima, and she thanked Fatima for saving their dreams, before they even could get off the ground. And Fatima said black women need to stick together, and then told Karen that Hayden asked her to take point or lead on this and that they will have to see more of each other. Is that okay? And Karen said it's more than okay, that she looks forward to, working with her. And then she extended her hand across the conference room table to shake with Fatima and said thank you again and left. Now we see Rich showing up to Brookhaven Bank to bring Sabrina a gift, which is a basketball. Surprise! And now he wants to play against her after work. He told her to invite Maurice and Grayson so he could get to know her friends better. But didn't Maurice show that he has no interest in sports and doesn't listen to them or watch them? So why would you insist that she invites them when he knows Maurice doesn't care much about it? And then it ends with Robin and Andy back at the penthouse, and he questions Andy about her actions, saying if he didn't know any better, he thinks she still cared for that a-hole. Talk about Gary. And she said, I'm just following the advice of my legal counsel. And then she told him she's not falling for Gary's BS nor his. And he said, excuse me? And then she proceeds to accuse him of looking out for himself to get more power at the firm. And I'm sitting there going, how can he get more power at the firm if he's the owner of the firm? If he's basically higher than the partners, I thought. I mean, y'all put it down in the comment section if I got it wrong, but that's what I was thinking. Then he thought for a second and said, oh, Fatima. And I'm sitting there going, see, you done played, let him know that Fatima said something to you, and she could be getting Fatima in trouble because she's opening up her mouth saying these things. Anyway, then she told him she doesn't need him to save her from Gary Borders or anyone else, and that she is perfectly capable of saving herself. And I was like, that's a lie. I don't know what makes her think that, but that is a lie. Andy cannot save herself. She needs help, whether she knows it or not. And then she told him she's coming back to the firm to reclaim what's rightfully hers. And she walked away and left him standing there. And we know she's talking about that managing partner position. So that's the way it ended. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it down in the comment section. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I will see you all in the next video. Happy holidays, season greetings, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and all that stuff to everyone out there. It's your girl Barbie J saying peace.